Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast and videocast. I got it. No more excuses. I am your host, Sandi Ballard, the badass business coach. Right there. It's proof. Thanks for being here, for listening, watching, and sharing this with others, investing in you. And this is week 4. You're there. It's the last week of the year, last week of December. Congrats. Congrats. All right. And if you don't feel like you've done well, or you're really doing a great job, then there's always something to celebrate. I don't care how tiny it is. Maybe you lost a half a pound instead of 15. Maybe you increased the weights on your workout. Maybe you I don't know, made 2 calls instead of 10. Maybe you increased your sales by a percentage instead of 5. Whatever it is, there's always something to celebrate. And that's what we want to do today. All right. So all month. So if you've are just popping into this one, you need to go back to, I'm looking over my cheat sheet, 348 is where we started December. We reviewed your goals. And 349 is where we set up the month of December. Obviously, at this point, we're here. But you can use these worksheets throughout the year. You can use them whenever. So podcast 349, I said, yes, is for a monthly kind of goal. So week by week, what do you want to achieve? You can use that anytime. And how you get the worksheets is go to my website, badassbusiness.coach, go to the worksheets page, enter your email, and you get it. And don't worry, I'm not a big spammer. I usually send out like one email with my podcast, with this link, some coaching tips, some events that I have coming up. With my trip to Indy, there was a few more emails that went out just as reminders because a lot of people were on Thanksgiving break and all that. So anyway, if you want the worksheets, how you going to get them? And all right, for those of you listening, I am actually going to share my screen now and get that. So if you are one of the listeners, hopefully you've gone to the website and downloaded the worksheets and you're following along again, or you can pause this or just make notes your own, because hopefully I'm doing a good job of describing, sharing what I want you to do. So this is kind of review and reset without regret. Yes. So 5 action steps to start the year strong. So first off, you should be setting up your last week. So that worksheet from 349. Last week was an important one. It's setting up your personal and professional goals for the new year. So make sure you get that one as well. So you'll actually have 4 worksheets to download, and you'll get them all bundled. So yes, so last week we set up your personal and professional goals. And this week we're going to really look at a great view, a big view, overall view of the year. So what were the top 3 lessons you learned this year? That's always a thinker. And yeah, so what did you learn? I'm thinking myself. A lot of people, it could be an easy one. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't take things so personally. Don't ask maybe a certain person for help. Maybe do ask a certain person for help. You should have asked a certain person for help sooner. Don't forget to eat a lot of red meat before you go give blood, because your iron, when you're like me and your iron gets low. Yeah. Last time I went to donate blood, I couldn't because my iron was too low. I was kind of sad. Anyway, I learned that. I was like, oh yeah, I've had a lot of seafood this week and maybe some chicken, no red meat. If you can't eat red meat, figure out how to keep your iron up so you can get blood. PSA, there you go. Public service announcement for the year. My lesson that I learned. And it can be deeper. It could be something that's really, strong. If you're very faith-based, it could be something along those lines. Up to you, because this is for you. And then next, list one success you've had. Like I talked about, something small, something so silly, you don't think it's worth talking about. It is. You've got to write something down. All right. And then list one challenge you needed help with. Maybe you just, um, maybe it's something, like I said, you learned that you should have asked so and so for help, or asked someone for help with a challenge earlier in the year. Trying to think of a challenge that I've had. It's hard to think about stuff like that when I'm trying to think about stuff for you. So, what's a challenge? Maybe you overcame it, maybe you didn't. And if you didn't, then the next line is ideas, ways to overcome it. Is it ask for help? Is it delegate? Is it just pick up the damn phone and make the calls? Is it quit getting caught up with perfection? Perfectionist trap. Yes, strive for excellence, not perfection. That came from my daughter's first grade teacher. If you've listened to me for a while, you've probably heard me tell this story. So my daughter is 27 now, but when she was in first grade and just a little bit of a thing, she brought her backpack home, and I'm going through all the papers, and there was this trifold brochure, and that was on the front of it. Strive for excellence, not perfection. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. That has stuck with me for what now, 22 years. Strive for perfection, not excellent. Oh, yeah, strive for excellence. Oh my God, I just said it wrong. Strive for excellence, not perfection. Oh my gosh, strive for excellence, not perfection. Maybe that's a lesson that you learned or are just now learning. Oopsies are okay. That's how we learn, right? You hear all the time, all the big, huge, famous people that I will sit next to soon, say, oh, failure is a way to learn. Well, it is a way to learn. If you run into the wall, maybe you need to learn that you got to turn right before you hit the wall. If you aren't making the calls, you're learning that you need to make the calls to help you. What's a failure you've had? Well, I hired a publicist when my fourth book came out in August, and I was super excited. And I didn't, I guess, pay attention to it. I wanted more interviews, TV and radio interviews. And I guess my failure is I didn't pay attention to what I was getting. And I got a list of submittals for podcasts and blogs, which has been helpful, but it's not really what I wanted. So I did not slow down enough to pay attention. I was just so wound and excited that the book was out. And then I had a publicist, right? So that was a bit of a failure. So I had to go back, spend a lot more money, and get what I needed, right? So, what's a challenge you needed help with, or maybe you still need help with, or what's a challenge you overcame? How? Okay, so I can change that. Ideas to overcome, or how did you overcome it? I'm adding that's the worksheet right now. You're hearing that typing live. And then what's one goal you did not achieve? Yes, there's always next year. Well, I really, my job and my goal is to help you not say that. But there are times when shit just happens, right? Life, especially the last few years with the pandemic, or just, everything, inflation that's been caused by it is, did you not get to start your business, or did you start it and had to close it down because of everything, the timing? Some people did start their businesses right at COVID or before or during, and it didn't make it. And some started and hung on and they did make it. So maybe you didn't lose the weight you wanted. Maybe you didn't get to run that half marathon, or maybe you didn't get to, I don't know, shave 30 seconds off your time. So why did you not achieve that? Well, I want to make sure you're you're looking at that and understanding, finding a reason, making sure when you reread that, is it an excuse or is it a true actual reason? All right. All right. So far, I know we've gone fast. 3 lessons you've learned this year, 1 success you've had, no matter how itty bitty or how amazingly big and badass, 1 challenge you needed help with, or maybe you overcame, and how, and the 1 goal you've not achieved and why. So thinking about the other worksheets, again, your review worksheet from the first one from the beginning of December, podcast 348. The second one is what were you going to do each week of the month and reviewing it. So set your goal for Sunday or Monday, and review it on Friday or Saturday, right? And then the third worksheet was your personal and professional goals, which has mini goals set in there to get you going to create progress. I want you to remember those other sheets, but thinking about, the one on the review worksheet, there is a section on there that talks about bad habits or creating healthier habits. So rewrite that. What's 1 habit you can change or maybe restart? Maybe it's something that's it fell out of habit, and you want to change it or restart it to start the year strong. And then at the end of the year, imagine the end of the year. I know in the goal worksheet, it says that, but it says, what's your goal? This, I want you to really, truly envision it. I've talked about vision board, but I want you to write it as a story. Write it as it's happening. Write it as it is. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a vice president now of the company you've been working for? Do you see yourself as an actual full-on business owner instead of maybe you brought your side gig to a full-time job, or you just went from a paying job to a business owner? So I am now a business owner of X, Y, and Z company. I am now the vice president and lead 15 people, whatever it is. Write it as a story. Write it as this is part of the things I've done with my mindset training and vision boards, for my own personal self. So write it as it is, that you've already achieved that. Okay. Yes. And then on your goal sheet, there was, like I mentioned, the 30, 60, 90-day goals. So that's great. That's going to help you create the momentum, right? I want you to keep doing that throughout the year. But okay, so right here, I want you to think about what's 1 thing you will stop doing, and this could relate to your habits. 1 thing you will start doing, and think about 1 person you can reach out to. We all have 1 person that's kind of been on our mind off and on throughout the year. I have a friend, Jim, if you're listening. Do you know how many times I have started to pick up the phone, or I've seen something on social media and been like, oh, I need to ask him how his trip went. He took his trip of a lifetime and by himself, solo, went on all these crazy adventures. And I have meant to ask you, Jim, if you're listening. If not, I will text you. It's like, I don't know why I keep forgetting. It's like I think about it, then I'm like, oh, and I think one of the things is, if he calls to tell me about it, do I have time? I always think about it right before I'm getting on a phone call or a client call or starting to do a recording or going somewhere. And yeah, it doesn't matter. I should pick up the damn phone or text him anyway. And if he calls, I don't have to answer, right? I can say, I'll call you right back. But yeah, Jim, I haven't forgotten about you. Been on my mind for 2 months now. See, happens. It happens to all of us. So this right here, this worksheet is going to really help you, hopefully, and it would helps me think about lessons you learned, successes, because that one right there, some people are like, I didn't do anything great this year. And then some people are going to have tons of successes, and that's great. I want you to list them. I want you to share them. Okay. I want you to share your success or hell, share this whole worksheet on your social media. I double dog dare you, right? I want you to share, at least share a success. So when I was in Indy, one of the things that the women's group, the Taboo Tribe, did was women are really bad about bragging on themselves or celebrating successes. I mean, we might be like, oh, I did that, or a lot of times it's like we'll downplay it. But that's what we did, is we went around the room and shared one little success or one big success, one success period. And it was really cool. And I warned people so they could be ready for it. And that's, you got to be able to do that. So I double dog dare you to challenge you to share at least your successes on social media, or at least this whole worksheet. And again, email me, Sandi@sandiballard.com. Oh, and if you haven't gotten this worksheet yet, go to my website, badassbusiness.coach, enter your email, go to the worksheets page, enter your email, and you will get the worksheets to download. Okay. If you have any problems, and email me, Sandi@sandiballard.com. Find me on social media, comment wherever you're seeing this, do whatever you need to do to help you get the worksheets and help you make sure you're set up for success. And if you're just coming in hot the last week of the year on this podcast number, this is 351. Yes. Go back, start over, or just start with this one and then get your goal worksheet, right? And then save them for next year, or come back next year. Come back every week, right? That's what this is all about. So I want you to envision your success that's already happened, like it's already happened. All right. And I want to help you finish the year strong, do whatever you need to do to start the year strong and be ready for just a kick-ass, amazingly badass year. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. And on that note, great job. If you email me or need to email me to help you, please do. Sandi@sandiballard.com. Please let me help you finish the year strong, start the year strong, mid-year blip in the matrix, whatever it is. That's why I'm here. And again, thank you so much for coming back and for listening for all these years. I mean, I can't even believe I've been doing this for 351 weeks, right? And I think I've missed 2, which I didn't really miss them. I just pulled in a replay, which some people do that during the holidays. But no, here I am doing this for you. And when I do it for you and hear from you, it helps keep me going. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and have a wonderful new year, and be ready to kick ass next year. All right. Have a great holiday. Cheers.